Hello, and welcome to another video on navigating and accessing the Start menu in Windows 11 using a screen reader. Again, I'll be utilizing the JAWS for Windows screen reader in this demonstration, but most of the things that I'll be showing you, in fact, all of the things I'll be showing you, can be done with any screen reader. The feedback, however, might be just slightly different. The key commands, however, are the same. So let's go ahead and get started. As usual, I'm going to activate my Start menu by pressing the Windows Start key on my keyboard. I can also click using my mouse if that's available to me, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to press the key.
Search box edit, type in text.
As you can hear, we are focused in the search box as we were before. I'm going to press Tab to navigate to the pinned area of my Start menu, and we'll talk a little bit about what that means.
Pinned list box. Microsoft Edge. 1 of 23. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
As you can hear, I landed on my pinned area of my Start menu. It said Microsoft Edge 1 of 23. That means that there are 23 icons in my pinned area, and my screen reader focus right now is on Microsoft Edge. Much like the desktop, I can navigate this area using my arrow keys. However, there are limitations, much like the desktop. It's organized in a grid, these pinned applications are, and as on the desktop, if I use my down arrow to navigate,
Photos. 7 of 23. Microsoft Clipchamp. 13 of 23. Paint. 19 of 23.
and I keep hitting my down arrow, but I'm unable to go down any farther. I'm still in the same column, the first column. I can go to my right by pressing the right arrow and go to the next column
Movies and TV. 20 of 23.
and navigate up and down in that column as before. But again, I have to use that systematic search menu or search technique to find something that I want. That doesn't make this the most effective way of opening an app, but it does make it sort of important to know about, because if you don't know where an application is or something like that, often it will be in your pinned applications. Just like with the Start menu, you can navigate this area using first letter navigation, and let me demonstrate that by pressing the letter M.
Microsoft Edge. 1 of 23. Microsoft 365 Copilot. 5 of 23. Microsoft Store. 6 of 23. Microsoft Clipchamp. 13 of 23.
And I could continue pressing the letter M to demonstrate that, but I'm going to go ahead and stop. I do want to show you that that there's some ways of customizing things that are pinned in this area. So for example, if I find that there is an application that I use a lot, I can pin it here if it's not here already. I'm going to actually go ahead and press O for Outlook.
OneNote. 22 of 23.
And I keep pressing O and I'm not finding it. As I noted before, Outlook is my preferred email client, and it's not in this pinned list. So that's kind of disappointing, but don't worry about that because I can pin it and unpin items in this list. And I'm going to show you how to do that right now. I'm going to press Escape.
Escape.
And I'm going to get back into this menu, and I'm going to find Outlook using my search field. So I'm going to press my Start menu again.
Search box edit. Outlook left parent classic right parent app. Press right to view options. Outlook left parent classic right parent app. Press right to view options. 1 of 7.
As before, when I entered Outlook, I'm getting some options. But instead of doing that navigation that I did in the video that talked about how to use the search field, I'm going to activate a context menu on this, and I can do that in a couple of ways. The first way is to press Shift plus F10 in your function row. The Shift key plus F10 activates something called the context menu, and it gives you a bunch of actions that you can perform on something that you've searched. There's also on many keyboards, not always on laptop keyboards, but often on desktop keyboards, there's an application menu key, and that will open the context menu. There are also ways to right-click on something with a screen reader, but we're not going to go into that right now. We're just going to go with the first two options. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key and I'm going to press F10.
Outlook, Shift F10, quote, search dash web content page, search, context menu list box, run as administrator. 1 of 5. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
It's opened up a context menu for me, and it's given me 5 options. The first option is run as administrator. I don't want to do that. I'm going to press a down arrow.
Open file location. 2 of 5.
I don't need to do that.
Unpin from taskbar. 3 of 5.
We'll talk about things that are pinned to the taskbar at another point. Now we're talking about pinning to start.
Pin to start. 4 of 5.
This tells me pin to start. So firstly, the fact that pin to start is even here lets me know that this application is not in that pinned area that I explored earlier. I already knew that actually, and that's fine. So I'm going to want to pin that to that start area. In order to do that, I can press the Enter key here.
Enter, item pinned, search box, edit, Outlook, left parent, classic, right parent, type in text.
And it told me item pinned. I want to test that, so I'm going to press Escape.
Escape.
Until I get out of that menu. And I'm going to press my Start menu again.
Search box, edit, type in text.
I'm going to navigate to my pinned items by pressing Tab.
Pinned list box. OneNote. 22 of 23. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
Those of you who can visually access the screen might notice that visually the item in focus is Microsoft Edge, but my screen reader told me that the item in focus was OneNote. This happens sometimes because the last item that I had in focus when I was using my screen reader was OneNote, because if you'll recall, I was looking for Outlook by pressing the letter O. Sometimes this happens, so it's important to make sure and verify that you have focus on what you think you have focus on. I want to find Outlook in this pinned area, and I can press the letter O.
OneNote, 22 of 24. Outlook, left parent, classic, right parent, 24 of 24.
And there's Outlook. You'll also notice that this is number 24 of 24. So just by listening, I could have learned that I've added an item to this pinned list, because if I would have been listening earlier, it would have said I had 24 items here instead of 23. This is another easy way to open an application if you know it's in your pinned area, rather than typing it in. I can also remove or do other actions in this pinned area by using that same key command we introduced earlier to access the context menu. It's like right-clicking, just so that you know the terminology. So accessing the context menu can be done by right-clicking on the item as well, by pressing Insert F10, or by accessing it using that Applications key, which is on, again, desktop keyboards, not always on laptop keyboards, which is why we talk about the Shift F10. So let me do a Shift F10 here to show you what options I have.
Shift context menu. To navigate, press up or down arrow. Move left, 2 of 9, M.
So I can move this item.
Create a new app folder, 3 of 9. Unpin from start, 4 of 9. U. Run as administrator, 5 of 9. Open file location, 6 of 9. Unpin from taskbar, 7 of 9. Uninstall, 8 of 9. U.
So as you can hear, there's a lot of options in this in this context menu, including moving the item, unpinning it from the start menu, unpinning it from the taskbar, which we will talk about another time, I promise, running as administrator, opening file location. I'm going to work my way up this context menu.
Unpin from taskbar, open file location, run as administrator, unpin from start, 4 of, create a new app folder, 3 of, move left, 2 of 9, and move to front, 1 of 9, M.
And I found the move to front. I'm going to press enter on that.
Enter. Leaving menus. Pinned list box. Outlook left parent. Classic right parent. 1 of 24. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
So now, as you have heard, I hear Outlook is number 1 of 24, not 24 of 24. It has moved it to the top of the list. I could go through all of these pinned items and unpin the ones I do not want to access here, or I could add other items here if I wanted. Let's go through how to unpin one really quick. I'm going to find the Microsoft Store because I don't really access that. So I'm going to press the letter M.
Microsoft Edge 2 of 24. Microsoft 365 Copilot 6 of 24. Microsoft Store 7 of 24.
So I found the Microsoft Store. I'm going to access my context menu by pressing Shift plus F10 again.
Context menu. To navigate, press up or down arrow. Move to front 1 of 6. M. Move left 2 of 6. M.
Using my down arrow here.
Move right 3 of 6. M. Create a new app folder 4 of 6. C. Unpin from start 5 of 6. U.
Oh, there we go. Unpin from start. I'm going to press enter.
Enter. Leaving menus. Pinned list box. Outlook left parent. Classic right parent. 1 of 23. To move to an item, press the arrow keys.
As you can hear, I'm down to 23 items again. And if I press M, I'm not going to find the Microsoft Store again.
Microsoft Edge 2 of 23. Microsoft 365 Copilot 6 of 23. Microsoft Clipchamp 13 of 23. Movies and TV 20 of 23. Microsoft Edge 2 of 23.
And I went all the way around without finding the Microsoft Store. This gives you just some ideas of how this pinned area works. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great day.